think we'll call the meeting to order here at 6:30. I'm surprised we don't see Charlie yet, but we'll carry on. Approval of prior meeting minutes, that'll be quick because I did not prepare them in time for tonight. I meant to do it this weekend and completely slipped my mind. Weekend got away from me, so we'll have that for the next week. Public comment. Massive amounts of public that are here. Let's say there was none. Ongoing business. So Sam, could you provide, if you have one, an update for the, oh, wait a minute. I did forget to say one thing. Tonight's meeting is being streamed on sandwichtv.org and broadcast on local channel 9. The meeting will be available on their YouTube channel and website tomorrow. The overhead mic is hot. The person recording the meeting has texted me and says we're all good to go. So there you go. Service road share use path update. Do you have
not to put me in the spotlight or anything?
Speak into the microphone.
Right. For service road, I have been involved in some discussions where punch list items are being developed and for spring work coming up. Largely having to do with landscaping and other odds and ends. There's a few lingering erosion spots that the contractor is going to take care of. And it is looking favorable, but that project will be substantially wrapped up this spring. So I've not heard any formal discussions yet about a ribbon cutting or anything like that. There may be at some point.
I think at last check, the state agreed that they would do one, but I don't think we decided on a date.
So do they have any idea when, that'll, be, I know like I said, they got to do the punch list, but I mean, are they, because honestly, I'm out there, I don't see them working out there. So I mean, if they got a punch list and stuff or everything to do this, I mean, are they looking to have it sometime in the spring, the summer,
I've heard, yeah, because it'll happen soon. Work crew will mobilize sooner than later. I don't know the exact.
No, I mean, it's just that, I mean, I know, it's kind of like I said, put you on the spot. I mean, and you say that, you can only say what you know, but it just seems it's the same thing, and then they've had opportunities to be out there to do it. I'm sure that, they'd want to finish it up and be able to, move on to another.
It's been winter and it hasn't been growing season, and so there's a lot of landscaping that needs to be finished. But I think they want to be efficient with their mobilization, so they want to get out and get as large of a chunk of the work done in one effort as possible. That's what I understand. Yeah. So they need to wait for more favorable growing conditions and whatnot.
So
there was still frost on the ground last week.
Do you know what kind of landscaping or whatever that they're looking to be working on? I mean, are they planting more trees or whatever? They're replacing trees. Is that pretty much what the landscaping?
I'm not sure of the tree count between Mass DOT and Lawrence Lynch. I'll just leave it at that. At the least, there is road shoulder work.
Oh, that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's
I know they're working on that towards the end of last year or whatever. Yeah. And some of that's filled in.
At least just for ground stabilization. But then also there's some aesthetics along with it. So there's some finishing up that needs to be done. Mass DOT is aware of it. Lawrence Lynch is aware of it. They just think they want to schedule the work in an efficient manner.
Is it any particular? I mean, is it along the whole route, or is there like a certain area that they're looking to need to concentrate on?
Well, there's a couple of erosion spots that have been persistent, and there's plans in the works to get that squared away. So those are isolated spots. Those are like across from Spalding. Just tying that up. Most of it is complete. It's just a little bit that, in our view, looks like, you know, something that has a little bit of a question mark on it, and so they're just gonna do belt and suspenders to make sure it's buttoned up as well as possible, so that when we take it on the town side, it isn't an issue for us. And then things like landscaping, I think, are more end-to-end, you know, with restoring the road shoulders, getting grass to grow.
Yeah.
I can't say there's gonna be something done at every spot along the way, but, you know, I think that the intent of everybody that I've talked to that's involved, they all want it to look good and, you know, be a nice project.
Yeah, thanks.
Anybody have other questions? Thank you, Sam, for that. Service Road Canal connection update.
So the biggest action item that's been happening on that one that I'm aware of is VHB has been working on traffic engineering in preparation for working with Mass DOT in their traffic section. So they've been starting their crash data analysis and traffic count work. And we're anticipating there being some involved discussions with Mass DOT, particularly regarding Route 6A. And one of the developments that comes out of that is then the potential for some design development and some refinements to what they had envisioned as their concept right now on Route 6A as they talk to Mass DOT and their engineers. And then that relates back to the timing of a public forum, because I would recommend that we continue to have regular public forums to engage the public and inform anyone who's interested about what we're doing, and provide a channel for people to talk to us and give us their input. But with the timing of everything right now, it's looking like instead of a spring forum, it might make more sense to go to a summer or possibly early fall forum. In talking with Steve Rhodes at VHB, he was saying that we could do a spring, but forum if we really wanted to. But in his view, it thinks it probably makes more sense to wait and do it in the summer when we're further along in discussions with Mass DOT. And that really won't happen until they get farther along in their traffic engineering analysis.
Okay.
So we have a little leeway on this particular phase right now. Sorry to
No, go ahead.
keep going here,
Yep.
but because of the timing with the grant funds that we have through Mass Trails. So we have an extended period of this particular grant that goes out an extra fiscal year.
Right.
So we don't have the deadline hanging over us like we have had in years past. And that's part of what drove the public forum being in the spring.
Right.
So having that freedom, I think there's a little bit of a benefit as well, maybe having a larger population here in the summertime and early fall.
Sure.
To draw from.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, that if we were to have a forum by summer or fall, we would actually have further developed design renderings.
At least basis for design.
Yeah, okay.
And so they'd have a more solid understanding of.
So something more tangible that we can talk about with people. Okay. That sounds reasonable to me. Anybody have a comment on that? Okay. I think we should shoot for that. Would we time it with our meetings like we've done before, or would we?
I thought that worked pretty well.
So we're potentially looking at August 18th or second. Where's my meeting schedule? That would be more helpful. Here. Yes. So August 18th or September 15th, potentially. Okay. If we have to do it a different day, we do. That's fine. But those would be ideal. Okay, anybody have questions on that? Did you have more on that or no?
No, that's about it.
Everybody good? And then I didn't put a crosswalks item on the agenda specifically this week or this month, because I thought we would just focus on the current grant applications. There's a lot of work that could grow out of those grant applications, so I thought that was the best place to put our initial emphasis. In case anybody was wondering why the agenda was structured that way. So if you could speak to anything we've heard on the grants that are outlined in the agenda, the shared streets, the vulnerable road users, the RFB. Have we heard anything back on any of those?
Not officially regarding the grants specifically. Quaker and Catuit continues to progress. Just had another meeting today with Stantec is doing the engineering on this one. We're looking to extend the sidewalk from along Catuit Road, from Quaker Meeting House Road to Farmersville. As part of this, if funding will allow. So there's just some details to nail down with that. Today was a good day to review the drainage out there. So took advantage of that, talked with the engineers a bit. And that is continuing to progress. So they have some direction now, and they'll be preparing preliminary designs. I don't know if it'll be ready for the next meeting, but probably will, at least the following meeting.
Okay, that'd be great to see.
Yeah. On vulnerable road users, I haven't heard anything back there on that. That's a larger Cape-wide program, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
As is the free RFB program, the next item down. At least on the RFB, the state was looking for additional speed data and traffic count data. The county, I provided that, and that was the last that I heard on it. So the state had all the information that they needed, and just waiting to hear back.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Questions on any of that? Bike racks.
I actually have progress on this one.
All right, give it to us.
Let's see. So at 100 Route 6A, we are working with Brian Schlegel, Director of Facilities, to identify locations. I believe there are actually, I know there are bike racks that are at DPW.
Okay.
It's just a matter of pinpointing the location of where they may go.
Okay.
Getting the approvals and having them coordinate the installation.
Okay.
And Center for Active Living, that, from what I understand, those have been ordered. We're working with that facility there and the Recreation Department. And they have been ordered, and DPW will help coordinate the installation of those when they arrive. So those are going to be surface mounted, so they're similar appearance for that up top, above grade. They just get anchored into the concrete. So,
Do you know what type?
we're sticking with the hitch. Tried and true. Provides good, stable surface to lean the frame against and lock up.
And the hitches were what are sitting at DPW for 106A as well?
I believe so, yeah.
Related to that, the Joint Transportation Committee meeting that I attended on Friday, one of the things that we had struggled with the Center for Active Living is that the county grant program that had existed previously was not funded for this year. The Joint Transportation Committee did recommend a single year of funding next fiscal year. So if we want to start thinking about upgrading existing ones, like perhaps at the schools or elsewhere, or need a new fix-it station somewhere, just be thinking about that, because there will be an opportunity, I think, provided that the MPO approves the recommendation, that there'll be an opportunity to get our bike racks, back in the pipeline, so. It was only a single year that was funded, and these things get decided year to year, so. And we'll have to compete against other fellow Cape towns for the funding, but I think there'll be enough that everybody will be happy.
I'm just curious, are any going at the parking lot that's for the bike path that's off of near the golf? Were there any being looked at to be potentially put there?
I'm not sure about that.
I thought Paul had said at one time that there would be, that it was part of that project too.
Just curious, like, is that from, just to help me out with the perspective on that, right?
Yeah.
So if we're going to a bicycling facility, we're gonna park the bike and leave it?
Fix-it station.
Or a fix-it station. I mean, I think that's more of a-
Station, I think would be the key thing.
Yeah. But there's, even at Maple Swamp, we have bike racks. People that are hanging out there at the picnic
Sure,
pavilion.
yeah. Yep, lean a bike.
But I think what was discussed with Paul previously was a fix-it station, because we had wanted one to be purchased for that. And he recommended we hold off because it was part of that project already, if I remember correctly. I'd have to go back to the
Fix it station, okay.
Plus, you never know, they might want to park their bike there and go look for some road golf balls. Because I know I've had enough.
That's something we're trying to discourage.
But I think a fix-it station either at that parking lot or what we had considered previously was at Maple Swamp.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Maple Swamp you couldn't though, right?
You couldn't, right.
But here you could.
But you could at where there's the crossing there. There's a,
Could you could put it, because that's on town land, I guess, on that side of the.
well, if the state were to be installing it as part of the bike path project, it could be installed along the bike path, I think.
Which location are we talking about?
Maple Swamp.
Yeah, we know we couldn't do with the Maple Swamp. Because that was.
I think DNR.
Right.
Yeah, concerned about that.
So contrary to some of the limitations regarding that property in terms of materials and whatnot. But anyway, we'd love to see one somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just changed for no reason at all. I probably should keep my glasses on. Okay, anything else on bike racks?
That's it.
New business, I'll just say that a couple things that have come to my attention. The Sandwich Recreation Kids Mountain Bike Program spring registration is open. The program is supposed to run from the last week of April on Wednesdays through the first week of June. I unfortunately this time around cannot volunteer. It breaks my heart, but I have a work conflict. But there's plenty of volunteers from our friends at NEMA that I know, so we're looking forward to that. In case you're interested, the Shining Sea Bikeway is having or the Falmouth Bike Committee is having a Shining Sea Bikeway reopening celebration May 4th from 1 to 3 with a rain date of May 10th. They sent around a flyer. Some of you may have been on that mailing. Their part of the path has been closed while I believe Eversource, one of the utilities, has been upgrading underground, what's the word I'm looking for? Connections under the path. So they've had to close down some of the path. There's been a detour there. It's supposed to be wrapping up this month. So they are having that ceremony in case you're interested in attending. And then finally, construction has begun on the Yarmouth to Barnstable portion of the Cape Cod Rail Trail. There's been substantial clearing along where the path is supposed to go south of the highway, wiping out some access to some mountain bike trails, but that was expected. So obviously once the path is there, the access will be restored. So, so that path is migrating towards Sandwich. at the pace that it migrates. But that portion includes a bridge over Willow Street, and will connect to Mary Dunn Road. And then there's still another portion from Mary Dunn Road to our town line that's still being planned. But it's coming. So those were the new business items I had. Did anybody have anything?
Is there any talk about like the rest of the Barnstable?
I haven't seen anything lately. I know it's being worked on. The plan is being worked on, the design. But I haven't seen any news recently about it. Next time we talk to Steve Rhodes, I'm sure he could probably give us an update.
Because that would be the last section, right?
Yes. Well, and we would have a gap to close ourselves. Very small gap.
Oh, sandwich pass from Chase Road to the town line.
Last half mile.
So, anybody have anything else they wanted to bring up under new business? No? Our next meeting would be April 28th, because of Patriots Day the previous week, so we're pushing to the 4th week instead of the 3rd. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
All right,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll go to my beef stew.